Welcome back to another episode of the Real Bourbon Bros podcast, the essential podcast for the novice yet curious whiskey enthusiast.
Hi guys, welcome back to Real Bourbon Bros. We are in Kentucky, Bardstown, Kentucky.
Bardstown, yeah.
Oh, look at us, we have some gas. We are at
live
Bardstown
in person. We are
Distillery.
live in the flesh.
Yes, Steve and Gary here, guys.
Gary.
Thank you so much for joining us here for this episode. We have Amanda and Dan from Bardstown, and they are generous with their time and everything they've given us so far in this trip. But we're going to even be generous to you, talking about some great products today.
Yeah.
So, Dan, Amanda, thank you so much for joining us.
Deep in the product development group, I'm sure, of Bardstown.
Absolutely, and thanks for coming. We're actually in Rickhouse A right now.
Okay.
Bardstown Bourbon Company. This is a 23,500 barrel warehouse, 6 stories high, so it's a great thing that we are on the first story. Nice and cool.
yes.
This is slower development.
Beautiful weather.
But perfect
Today.
place. We've brought out 2 of our favorite pours. We've got our Cascadia and our Mars from our Distillery Reserve series. So only available here on site and in our
Perfect.
Louisville tasting room.
Perfect.
If only you guys can smell what we're smelling now. It's
Does it come across?
amazing.
Yeah.
That technology isn't developed.
Not yet. But Dan, we'll start with you. A little bit of your backstory before we obviously taste these delicious offerings. A little backstory of how you came to where you are now with Bardstown. A little bit of your history, if you don't mind. for the
Yeah,
audience.
absolutely. I'll give you the brief version.
Yeah,
Dan Callaway, I'm the blender for Bardstown and for Green River, so we call that Lofted Spirits, the 2 brands. This is my 9th year here.
Wow.
I was a musician my whole life,
Nice.
all through my 20s, and then played the French horn down in New Orleans, and then came up to Kentucky, got into wine, hospitality, did the Somm thing,
Nice.
met the crew, founding Bardstown Bourbon Company, and was able to come up initially to build the beverage program, and then just every day moving over to product development and creating some cool things.
Yeah. So LSU fan.
LSU, I did my grad school.
Tigers.
Go Tigers.
They're looking good this year?
Not in baseball. They're out right now. We'll see about football.
Well, you never know now with the ever-changing landscape of college sports, but
Yeah.
very cool. That's awesome. From
Awesome.
musician to where you are now, that's awesome. And Amanda, a little history
Yeah.
of yourself?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I studied chemical engineering at UVL, so a bit more of a boring
Yeah.
major. From there, started working at Brown-Forman, did research and development at Brown-Forman, did a stint at Woodford and bottling, and then
Okay.
made the move up to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, working at Molson Coors
Wow.
in both research and development and procurement, and then made the move back down to Kentucky to join Dan in the product development team here at Bardstown.
Okay.
I've been here 8 months.
8 months.
Feels
wow.
Feels a bit
Wow.
longer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
Great.
how I got
That's
here.
awesome.
As a fellow engineer, it's not boring, but those engineers are a pivotal part of this, of everything, including
yes.
bourbon, right?
It's like
So
the backbone, right? The research. The,
yeah, people don't realize that, but engineers
just
are
like-
behind almost everything that you have.
You're an engineer. I thought you were a podcaster.
That's my
And my brother.
Career.
This is all new news.
That's my
to
second
me.
career. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you guys for joining us again today. We have a few products obviously here. We want to highlight for our audience, and I think the Distillery Reserve Collection most folks know about. Hopefully at this point, if they don't, where are you at?
Bardstown.
Yeah, the Bardstown. These are great releases, and I'm not sure which number we have in terms of the chronological. Dan, we could talk to about that and a little bit of the history of these releases.
Sure. So the purpose of the Distillery Reserve Collection is we have all these experiments, 3 5-barrel experiments. We say there's nowhere we won't go, right? So it's innovation, pushing boundaries. We were just in my office seeing all these little bits and pieces. It's a home for these premium, bespoke expressions, right? And so the 2 we have today, we kicked off the series in 2025. These are the first 2 from 2026. We'll do 3 total in 2026.
Okay.
The first one we released is Cascadia, and that is a Garyana oak finish. Cascadia being the Pacific Northwest, Garyana oak, very specific type of oak, only grows up there. It's protected, it's rare, it's very dense, has this beautiful mix of both wood sugar and then more savory elements, and we bring those together and, create something special.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not harvested, just, I understand that you can only harvest it by fallen branches or something.
A little bit, you get fined certain areas.
Yeah.
How
You'll
much is
get
a
fined
fine, right?
$10,000, $15,000.
Oh, okay. That's like $10. Like,
like
I'll
a
take
very
that. But yeah,
expensive,
No, you got to make sure you don't hurt the tree.
exactly.
That's crazy. We work
exactly.
with Oregon Barrel Works. It's
Okay.
this micro cooperage outside Portland. They make, I think, about 1,000 barrels an entire year. When we're cranking, we'll do 800 barrels in a day.
Wow, very
So
exclusive.
Yeah.
Barrels of Gariana oak?
Yeah, exactly. Made from Gariana oak.
So
I
they're
did not realize
just,
that.
Yeah,
I thought
putting
they
the
were
wood into the
spires.
barrel. They're
Yeah.
actually made
Okay.
of the Gariana.
That's amazing then.
Yeah, work directly with them. It's recent too. You started to see it early 2000s in wine, a little bit Westland with some single malts out there. This is a significant.
Yeah, I was saying, so who identified the Gariana as a wood that would be great for?
Some wood
Yeah, his
chemical
name-
engineer.
Yeah, I was like, how did that come about? That's an interesting.
His name is Rick DeFerrari,
Wood
who
engineer.
owns Oregon Barrel Works. And he initially started doing used versions of the barrels in wine, and then started going to spirits.
Okay, maybe
There's
we can.
wine and then single malt, and then this is really the first with bourbon.
The first with.
Wow.
To it.
Yeah. So we put 10-year bourbon in here.
Okay.
And aged about 10 months. It goes here you can pour yourself
Okay, thank you.
incredibly rapidly. It's got a lot to say.
So is this any type of a blend, or is it just?
It's a few different things, but
Okay.
all bourbon
Gotcha.
put together. So we like the bourbon profile with it. We aged on the second to highest floor to extract it. And what you're gonna notice on the nose is big wood sugar, a little savory element, caramel, toffee, but this little kind of basil note that comes through
That
too.
is delicious, and I haven't even tasted it. That's just the nose.
Okay,
That's
sorry.
spectacular.
You probably hear our.
Glad we don't have colds. This is perfect.
No,
this
this
is.
Do you have to reschedule the podcast?
Oh gosh.
No, gosh,
geez.
no.
Yeah, COVID was a mess.
Oh, the nose is
Is
spectacular.
that's a strong nose.
Wow.
That's a very strong nose. I love the strong nose. I think. Go ahead, Dan.
We really wanted to lean into the wood. A little preview. We have something coming out, another blend using this wood, but it's going to
Okay.
be a little softer extraction.
Okay.
For the Distillery Reserve, we wanted the Gariana to be the superstar.
You said 10 months in the Gariana? Was
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And the next one we do will be more like 3-4 months.
Yep.
Just to dial in.
more subtle.
Well, there's no benchmark for this to go out and compare how it's going to act. So
Right.
we're having fun.
There's no research. You guys are the leading edge of this, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow. This is the nose. Yeah. I mean, I'm just still stuck on the nose. Palate.
Oh boy, the palate it's just so rich. There's a little bit of fruitiness into it.
But the oak. I mean, not the oak, but the wood. The wood. I'm sorry, the wood. Yeah.
The wood
Some
notes.
fruits, yeah, for sure. And it lingers too, which I like. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the proof
Yeah.
on this, I believe, is
107.
107.
We brought it down. It was hovering because we aged it high,
Yeah.
and we were running out there and tasting it, and it was
Slowly proofed it down
yeah.
to get to what we thought was the
That's
best.
nice. That's a treat right
Showcase.
there. And 375 obviously releases. There is I know some folks may know about this, the locals here in Kentucky. You have a program here at Bardstown for these releases every year for the opportunity. Can you talk a little bit about that program, the Bardstown program?
So this is it's amazing. We both work on it.
Okay, perfect.
The Reserve, which is our whiskey club for these premium releases. And not only is it these, there are rare single barrels. There's access coming up to some really special curated labels for it. And then the in-person events is where it shines
Right.
too. So we'll do tastings. There's great food, cocktails. We pulled out a Discovery 1 pour at one of the early events.
wow.
And-
Really?
yeah.
Oh,
That's special.
from the archives here.
Yeah.
The archive. So yeah, it's the Reserve. Just check it out on the website.
Yeah.
We're both there at every event and having an absolute blast.
And you'll be able to buy this opportunity to buy this at MSRP right from the
Yeah,
gift shop,
that's
right?
you never know which ones are gonna take off. And it
Yeah.
might be $800 down the road, and it's a way to just get guaranteed
Okay.
access. And everyone asks why the 375s. It's just because they're such small barrels,
Yeah,
3 to 5 barrels. Now there's more bottles. You get a crack at
barrels.
buying them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. In regular barrels, you might get maybe 90 maybe out of there.
Yeah, when they're
Barrels?
aged this far, you know,
Yeah.
when especially we have one coming up that has 18, 19-year liquid in it. You'd be lucky to get 50
wow.
bottles.
We'll talk about that in a
50
bit.
bottles. What do you think?
No, that's a treat. Like that for me is not only could you sip that as a sipper, like an everyday sipper we talk about on the podcast, that's also a special treat for like an anniversary, birthday, a special occasion bottle. And I love the packaging. I love the 375. I don't know, it adds something too when I see the 375. I know that smaller bottle to me is like that's an exclusive pour. This is something special, right?
Yeah.
So from the packaging to the nose
Definitely
to the
a
palate.
neat sipper. I'll tell you that. That's,
Yeah, you don't need to
amazing.
put ice on that to open it, or I'm sorry, water on to open it. That's just like perfect the way it is. Neat, as a neat in a Glencairn, like that's delicious. So no, thank you.
Yeah, the berry on the oak. I mean, it's the woodiness that comes in from at the finish. It's like so smooth, and it stays on your tongue for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, highly recommend. Obviously, any of the Distillery Reserve exclusives, but this one, wow, that's a special place to start.
That's awesome.
If you can find it, no. But
Yeah.
we love that. That's great.
All right.
Cheers.
Let's talk about the next one, the Mars.
Yeah, that's
This one
the
is
genesis of this. I'm very curious about the genesis story of the Mars, because Mars, obviously, people in the U.S. may not know about the Mars, company and distillery and all this, but you guys, Amanda, talk about it a little bit. Tell us about
years
this.
in the works in this one,
Okay.
and this honestly, all these projects, what I love about them is they're authentic, they're true. There's no money changes hands. They're just genuine things. Was fortunate to get to know the Mars team.
Yeah.
They came over and they were looking for used bourbon barrels, right? Because a lot of their Japanese whiskey is aged in used bourbon barrels. So they were coming by and got to know them. And we just had this idea, what if we created something? With the Mars, both our teams, we didn't just want to do a finishing project. Typically in collaborations, it's putting bourbon into a used barrel. We wanted to do something different. So we took Japanese whiskey, put it in a tote, shipped it to Bardstown, Kentucky, and then instead of just combining the liquid, it went in the bourbon barrel with the bourbon still in there. So basically pop the bung of the bourbon barrel, pour the Japanese whiskey on top, then let it age a year. The reason being, if you double barreled it, like say this Cascadia is a double barrel, the wood sugar would dominate all the subtlety of the Mars whiskey. So no new oak was introduced. It was just added into the bourbon that was aging. And then the Mars distilleries are two different ones. One is in the Japanese Alps called Komagatake, and that is an umeshu, a plum finish, that version. And then we blended that with the far, far south outside Kagoshima, where they have the volcano there, called Sanuki.
Okay.
Those were combined, shipped, placed into the bourbon barrels, and aged a year, and then finally released. And the coolest thing is we were able to go over there and tour and taste with them. And I have to shout out their two blenders, Mr. Kunai and Mr. Kusano, who both came over here, and we worked on it together. And then Masa from their team, and then Hambo-san, the whole team.
Wow.
It was
A lot of
amazing.
long distance flights too.
Yeah, and then Amanda was so pivotal as we dialed this thing in and putting the final touches on it.
Nice.
Yeah, so this one had been resting in the barrel when I jumped into it, but we really spent a lot of time figuring out what is the right proof to release this at, because it was at a higher proof sitting in the barrel. We wanted to make sure that we had a good balance between the bourbon and then the malt, and then the Japanese whiskey is a very delicate flavor, so we wanted to make sure that it could still come through and shine, not being overpowered by the 10-year-old bourbon that's been
Exactly.
So let's try. So you're gonna get this kind of three-way seesaw, right, between the two bourbons. I guess it's four different. You got two bourbons and two Japanese whiskeys, and you're trying to dial in. So you got plum, cherry, malt, and bourbon, all kind of coming together.
Let me prep my taste buds for that.
A little bit of smoke, peat from the Japanese.
Okay, yeah.
That's the question. Maybe a good question for Amanda. Like, is that something you guys had to consider from from your point of view, the chemist's point of view, of how much of that
Yes.
the peat,
Yeah.
because that's typically we get a little bit of that in most Japanese whiskeys.
And peat can be very polarizing.
Yes.
So we wanted to make sure that we had it in a ratio that was beneficial to the blend, but didn't overpower, because just like the bourbon can overpower the Japanese whiskey, the peat can overpower all of the nuanced floral notes that are coming through with the blend.
So this was a discussion back and forth, I assume, between
Over weeks.
And then when I was over there, it's amazing. They were showing me with peat, when they have it, it's slow aging in the processing tank for a couple months before bottling. They think of peat on a lot of their whiskey. It's almost like salt. They'll take a little bit and they'll just put little drops in there. But if it's a huge vat, maybe a bottle. But it's crazy. Peat, when used the way they incorporate it, which we tried to emulate it, instead of dominating like salt, it just enhances the flavor. It's crazy.
Adds to, not takes
and
away.
I had never experienced that before going over there.
And the proof on this, I'm sorry if I missed it earlier, if I didn't tell our audience.
Let's make sure I don't
Yeah, we
got 109.8.
We love that.
That's
yeah.
a great proof on that.
I think between 100 to 120 for us personally, like that's our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like right in that, you know, it's not too crazy, right? You're not like, I can't walk today, but it's enjoyable where you have a good finish and you can taste all the notes. The ethanol is not too high.
And the age is perfect too.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's very cool. It's very different. This is the coolest thing about Bardstown, how different these are.
How different, yeah. I'm gonna say there's more. On the nose, I can get a little, like, I don't know, what do you get on the, maybe almost like a raisin almost a little bit? I don't know where I'm pulling that out of, but.
Plum.
Yes.
Plum,
yes, thank you. I'm like, there's something
plum
there.
raisin.
I've had a few today, but maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
really
it's nothing
nice.
like a high sugar fruit, but like a plum fruit. What was that other fruit that they have? It's always
There's a lot of fruits out there.
Yuzu is the one you see a lot of.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
not-
And then this was just released?
just released. We did a big event. They came over again, and we did a big celebration out in LA for this one.
Really?
And then what I love, this is roughly, it's actually 77-23, but we thought about it as 80%, 20%.
Okay.
We sent them liquid. They're working right now on 80% Mars, 20% Bardstown. That's going to be in their packaging, and they'll release it in Japan.
Well, that not exclusive, not in the U.S. though.
I'm I'm friends with their importer.
You'll be
I'm
there
hoping
for,
we can
for
get
their
some here.
unveiling,
I'll go up, but I'm really
just for personal
hoping we
collection
get-
at least.
Yeah,
right? I hear you. But I just had a sip of this, and that blows me away.
It's
the
so
viscosity
cool.
is thicker than the Cascadia, but it's just. It doesn't. The finish is long and almost not like a molasses, but it just reminds me of that for some reason. It's just like a thicker, rich
Very
spirit.
sweet, more spicier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Than the
And I
Cascadia.
don't get any peat at all. For
No,
those who were
and-
worried
No,
about
I
that.
don't get much peat at all either.
And
Yeah.
it's one if you hang with, you start to taste the
yeah.
different notes as you're sitting with it.
Oh yeah.
And I brought one that is really cool.
Okay.
This is an element that went into it. Okay, so the
Okay.
Japanese whiskeys, the plum finish at Kagoshima at the very top, and then you have the cherry wood finish, Sanuki down on the bottom.
Okay.
This is the smallest percentage of the blend,
Okay.
but it's a really unique. So it's 100% malt, Japanese
Okay.
malt, but then finished, actually not finished, it spent its whole life in cherry wood barrels. So I'm just going to pour it right on this one. Cardinal sin here, I'm sorry.
Our producer Matt will drink that. Okay. He's just like watching it off camera for you guys. Yeah.
So it's just a way to see, by itself, one of the blends. So you're taking all the bourbon out, right?
one.
And
Let
this
me
is
hear.
just,
You have one here.
and you can go back and pour another Mars and compare. Might be the best use of time if I was thinking about it ahead.
We'll make it work.
But this is just an element of the blend of its entirety. This is the cherry wood finish Sanuki Distillery. Sanuki's whiskeys are usually a little thicker.
Okay.
It's a warmer climate. You get a little more tropical notes.
I love the color too. That's a delicious
Yeah.
color. That is
A
delicious.
little darker. But the same as a.
I wish we could read Japanese. We would know what this
You know what's
says.
very funny? I learned your phone. You hold it up to it and it breaks the
Oh
camera.
yeah, technology.
Yeah.
I was going to ask how much Japanese you guys had to learn for this
Minimal.
product. Minimal.
Cherry wood. That's what it says.
They put a little English on there, yeah.
You learned the language that
for us.
quickly, huh?
Okay.
Oh wow. So how many of the different releases that Mars brought to you that you were thinking about? How many? Is there a number?
How much
Amazing.
blending did you
So
guys have to?
Yeah, how many bottles did you sample?
It was
combinations?
so fun. I've got pictures from it, and I have the old spreadsheets from it. So they came. We did 2 days nonstop. just determining what to send.
And
Early days.
And they brought just a huge number.
They brought the entire pallet.
Did they send you samples first, and then
They brought it with them.
They brought
it with them, and they said, "Let's."
Wow.
And I had
All
a
3
bunch of
ounces.
bourbons.
Yeah.
And the crate, they were so wonderful and focused the whole time for these 2 days, and we went meticulous bourbon by bourbon, Japanese by Japanese, and just tried all these pairings. And then the umeshu is when I started at Bardstown, I had a list of 3 finishes I wanted to do. It was the 4 Square rum, the Amarnanino, and the umeshu. And the umeshu was 3rd.
Oh.
And it was I was like, we're doing that no matter what. So it's like let's pair that. And so we worked all day, and then the coolest thing we have a company truck, a Ford 350, and so they drove that around, and that was, I think, it was a blast.
Oh,
so
Wow.
That cherry wood just comes out on the nose.
I don't think I've ever had anything like that before.
I mean, you don't have to put your nose, my honker, into the Glencairn just like so far. Just like it's just like the cherry
That's a
wood
very
just comes
distinct flavor, but it works. This is a great finished product.
Wow.
Yeah, and you could see where a double barrel would kind of disrupt. Yeah.
The most interesting thing about me for this one is I did a tasting with our Louisville Tasting Room Visitor Experience team, and we poured the samples to start, and then I was talking to them probably over the course of 30 minutes, and each of them, they would take sips or go back and nose it over that time, and each time you go back, you get something different.
Yeah.
So it's an experience in a glass.
Wow.
Too.
So that, I was going to ask about that. So you guys did do like a crowd sampling of this
For
how
the
does
training. For the training.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Okay.
So our visitor team is incredible, but they've got to know everything, and they memorize every detail about the product. So Amanda gets them and trains them, and they've got it.
Wow. That's something I've never had anything like this.
No,
I can say that with a reservation. This is excellent.
I mean, this is a part of that. but
Right.
Still, it's amazing.
Unfortunately, fortunate for us, and we get to taste it. But fortunate for you guys, you get to taste it. So, but this we'll be able to taste.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
We were fortunate with San Francisco Spirits, one of 2, call it, largest blind tasting spirit competitions. This scored 98 points, one of their highest ones. I think
Wow.
it's on to the next round for Whiskey of the Year.
I feel like I've just traveled around the
Definitely
world with this one too. It's something you don't get to taste typically in the U.S.
Pacific Northwest, and then we went over to Japan.
Japan. Oh no, that's a great color.
Back here to Bardstown. Wow, that's amazing.
And then this is the other.
That is a little bit of the more peated element.
Okay.
If you want to try.
I mean, I'm not going to say no, just because we want
Yeah.
obviously for our audience want to be able to taste every element that
on,
goes into the finished product, and we give you our opinion on it.
This is
so.
just using that element to see. Again, it's nothing that I would do as by itself, but it just draws out so many other flavors.
Right, because maybe the overwhelming taste is that peat, but yet there's subtleties in it that you get in the final product that add to it.
Oh yeah.
So this is they
Oh, wow, right?
yeah,
Well,
That's the peat coming through.
and that's 50 parts per million.
am I in southern Scotland
Wow.
right now?
Yeah, so it's barely in there.
yeah.
but,
Islay area, yeah. Okay.
and that's just there's a whisper of it in the pour, and you certainly.
Oh wow.
We weren't trying to feature it, but it night and day difference when you use it. or
Yeah.
don't
I
use
mean,
No,
all the aspects of it. Wow.
I'm sorry. What was the percentage of this in the?
it. Sorry, like
50 parts per million.
in this bottle. It's just
the
a way
bottle.
they can measure
Right.
how peaty something is.
Yep.
There's 100 parts per million they sent too, but we didn't use that.
Yeah. No. This is. It's funny because we can taste the ingredients of the final product, and then try to go back and do I taste that in the final
Very
product?
subtle part of that, but this is.
Yeah, I taste more of this.
But just the nose itself, just is amazing.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. No, these are both excellent products. I would recommend both these to our audience. Obviously, if you can find them.
Yeah.
I
Ooh, like that.
what did you say?
I like it. Just like
You like that? Okay.
Well, it's such a drastic difference, but now I can feel, or I can remember the taste of that in there just a little bit.
The
It must be like
crossover.
maybe 10% or something. It's like Not,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
subtle.
It's just barely in there.
Yeah.
Well, we
Very nice.
appreciate these.
Yeah.
This is the current and the past. But what's on the horizon? Anything you could tell us about, guys? Amanda? Dan?
We have a third one that's coming this year.
Okay.
Okay.
And it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's,
What
it's
country,
gonna
what
make some-
country are we talking
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
All right, so
Hungarian oak.
We're going to be a little more traditional. To
Okay.
me, it's a study in double barreling, different ways you can double
Okay.
barrel,
Okay.
and a study in extra age. And we
You're gonna
don't
like
have
this.
the name
It's a
yet.
true experiment.
Yes, I like experiments. I like,
Any age statements on this, or we got to keep that under the wraps?
The oldest is 19 years in there, but there's also some phenomenal extended double barreling products that have
Okay.
been double barreled more than they've been in
Originally.
the original.
Oh,
Okay.
what,
And it's
really?
not overly tannic, it's not
Usually
overly
it's like
woody.
5-1 or 6-1 or something.
This
you know?
thing
It's
is, it's going to be special. We just don't have a name.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're
And
still
this
working on
isn't. We're still R&D in this, or we're tasting. Where are we at with this?
We will dial it, but we're pretty
Okay.
much done.
Okay, pretty much.
much
Okay.
Outside the
like
name is
that.
the last thing.
And this will be released approximately
End of the year.
End of the year. So
double something in the name, maybe?
double.
Late November, early December.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Well,
We'll look forward to
we're
that.
very looking
Yeah.
forward to that.
And,
The media sample for that.
We have connections. Yeah. There
Yeah,
are.
okay.
I think you've given us a lot of your time, guys. We appreciate it, and we've tasted some great whiskeys here today. And we always end our podcast with a few quick hitters.
Quick
if you,
hitters.
You don't
Oh,
mind?
quick hitter.
Quick hitters.
I'm like,
Okay,
I'm not
get 'em outta here.
I'm not. This has been a fantastic.
Yeah.
tasting.
So our
This has
first
been
quick hitter
awesome.
question, if both of you guys want to answer, or we always ask, the first whiskey legal drink you had. What was that? Legal
Has to be a whiskey?
whiskey.
Or is it, okay.
Whiskey.
Yeah, some sort of whiskey.
What was it? Scotch? Do you remember what it was, and what was it? If not,
I can tell you it wasn't an eye-opening moment for me. It would have been snuck somewhere.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it wasn't for the flavor.
okay. All right.
But I would say I would
when you remember.
pivot to say when I understood, I started in cocktails and wine, and I never really understood whiskey till I moved to Kentucky, and I met the right people, and I sat down and started
Spent some time
unpacking
with
the
it.
flavors,
Yeah.
and that to me was this part of the country, or the state, Bardstown. And I started hopping around all these amazing distilleries in Bardstown, whether it's Barton, Heaven Hill, Preservation, Lux Row, and just tasting their stuff. And that wasn't until I was 30, and that's when I actually understood
Awesome.
whiskey.
Your
Nice.
Renaissance.
Yeah,
That's great.
Men, do you remember?
And you?
Mine was probably a bourbon lemonade. That was my go-to.
Bourbon
Does
lemonade.
that count?
I don't know.
But that's one I have a lot of friends both in this part of the country and other parts of the country that are hesitant to try bourbon, and that's always my gateway is try a bourbon lemonade because you get the sweetness from the lemonade, but you still get the influence of the bourbon coming through.
Nice. And they have the finishes now and the blends, and that's open. I think a lot of doors to a lot of people who maybe aren't bourbon fans.
Yeah.
So, if you had to pick, the next question, if you had to pick like a type of whiskey that was your favorite, Scotch, Japanese, rye, bourbon, what would you guys pick? If you had to pick one specific whiskey,
Bourbon.
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 No.
All right, that was quick. That's the quickest answer we've ever had on our interview.
That's pretty damn
That was-
quick. Okay. So, and our audience aspires to be, the novice yet curious whiskey enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, touting like you guys are the drinker, the alcoholics of it. That's a bad term. But what advice would you give to someone that's a novice yet curious whiskey enthusiast?
Getting into the.
That's getting into
starting their journey.
starting their journey like we have. Everyone has. They start a journey.
Yeah.
What one piece of advice would you give them?
We've seen the biggest shift in whiskey, and if you think about generationally, think about your dad or your granddad. It was always one thing. They were a maker's guy or they were a bean guy, and they had the same drink every night. What we see now, the best way to learn spirits is to have many different varieties.
Try different
Try
things.
different things. Get a little bourbon club together. Everyone show up with a bourbon.
Yeah.
You can blind it. You
Shares.
can think about it.
Yeah.
The way to learn whiskey is to try tons of different varieties and styles.
Yeah,
And-
I would
and-
agree with that.
Same answer? Or?
I would agree with that. It's
Lemonade.
I don't know. I think the
Is it lemonade?
Mixology there?
no, it really is that like you don't know until you try something, and there's a lot of noise in the bourbon. Everyone has an opinion, but you don't really know until you try yourself because everyone's palate is so different.
Yeah.
And even if you have a group of friends where you bring something and try something, everyone is going to think something different.
That's
about
great.
it.
That's and not only palates, but I think nose and finish too. I mean, the nose to me that introduces you to the spirit, right? It's like this is what I'm going to anticipate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or buy hundreds of bottles and try them by yourself. I don't know.
Or have friends over. All right. Well,
we thank you so much for having the opportunity for us to interview you
so
guys,
much,
especially with these new great special releases from
Thank you.
Bardstown.
Thank
you
for
so much.
guys
And
do.
for our audience, guys, again, check out Bardstown. Great people, great company, great spirits, and that's the most important, the juice.
Yes.
Get down here to Bardstown, Kentucky, and try it for yourself.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Again,
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
Cheers.
Perfect.
Enjoy.